Hello and welcome back to What Heather Did. And guess what today is? It's moving day. I'm really excited because I'm finally to a point where I feel like progress is really being made. Okay, so, and if you've been watching, I went through day 4. And then day 5 was kind of a disaster. Not even a disaster, it was just got started. I was like, okay. I was putting siding on, which was really all that was going to be, was putting siding on. And I ran out of brad nails. And then I was like, well, it's kind of close. It was like 2 or 3 days before payday. I was like, I don't really want to spend money on those right now. And I kind of went back and forth. And then I ended up getting kind of sick. And I felt terrible. Like, it was just, ugh. So I was down for the next, the rest of that day and then the next day. So I was like, well, okay. Then... this past weekend, it's like, okay, we're just gonna do day 5 and 6 together. And then day 6, our dog Hippie managed to get out and she was gone. So after spending hours looking for her, we didn't find her. She just came back. So she is back. We lost hours, many hours. And then when I finally got back to work, I kept getting overheated, so I'd go inside, and I was like, it's just May, it shouldn't be. It was 106. So, yeah, I kept overheating and having to take a break, so I didn't get that far. And then, that was a Saturday, and then the Sunday, really productive, doing really good. It was nice and cool. But it was close enough that I was like, you know what, we're just going to finish out and do a moving day video. So, we're gonna go through everything I've done and show you how it's gone, and then we're gonna move the chickens in. Woohoo! Here's this side. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's kind of fun. So, here is the front. You can see I didn't quite finish over there. So I have quite the gap right there. Got one right there too. And then down there. But that's okay. There's the door. And then I got this one piece put on and those done down to there before I ran out of nails. So took a break, got lunch, drank some water, reapplied my sunscreen, and changed into a long sleeve sheet or a long sleeve shirt, whichever one you want to go with, to protect my skin because I've already I got a sunburn last work weekend, and with sunscreen, all the stuff still got sunburn. So make sure to reapply and just maybe cover your skin. I'm gonna have a hood. I think I got it at the thrift store. Look, I match. I'm wearing hot pink leggings though, so I guess I don't really match. But you gotta cover your skin. I got this at the thrift store. I think it's like a fisherman's shirt. Either way, protect your skin. Under the big doors that I have that are more for clean out and stuff, I don't really want anything that's going to get in the way. So I found these no dig panels that you just push down into the ground. And my ground's, it's not really that hard, but this was a terrible way to hold the board, by the way. I kept knocking it out of my hand and it hurt. But you just knock them into place, and it was like a pack of 5 for I think $20, something like that. They're 17 inches, so it took 2 under each door, and this one I was able to just push all the way in. But you can't just, you could pull them back out, but they're really sturdy in the ground otherwise. And then this one, I actually got smart about how I was holding the board, so it didn't hurt myself. And now I feel like that area is protected from anything trying to dig under there and get in the run. Doing our roof. We're doing a slope like this, and there's 9 inches between here and the bottom. So we're putting a 2x6 here, and then 2x4 here, and this really wasn't measured, just where do they need to be positioned so that these boards sit flat on them. So a board can sit flat going all the way from here to here. So, and then I got a piece of OSB that I'll come and we'll cut down, and then we'll attach up here. Here is the roof. We're just putting the screwing into the OSB into these over here, under here. My son helping me out. Also, I'm realizing there's kind of a slant. You see, this side is a little bit higher than that side.
That's fine.
I know, it's not a big deal. The water will still drain. That is what's important. On the rare occasions we get rain. Is it attached? Okay. This is attached. You can get down, babe. So then we'll put in some siding here. And then we're done for now. Well, not done. We're done with that. And then we're going to build the doors. I'm probably going to go with metal on the roof. But I'm kind of in the limbo because I got to think about money. What do I want to spend on this? And so that's where we are. Also, don't worry, there is no forecast of rain for the next 3 months. For the doors, this is just like a simple, like it's a rectangle. I'm not doing anything super special. These 3 boards, yes, and yes, I'm building it on a glass like patio table with a piece of plywood over it that I think is curved. So, you know, super good idea. But so I had these 3 boards that were all the same length, and that's going to be like the frame of it. And I'm just making sure they're evenly spaced so it'll fit within the space that I have. And then the board that's at the top where I'm standing is going to be the top of the door for the top board. And yes, I'm squaring that up, understanding that none of my boards are necessarily square, but it's okay. And this, I'm doing this in my backyard and like cutting the boards one at a time as I need them, which really made perfect sense. So I flip it over and then just keep going, cutting the boards. And I did vary the size of the boards, like some went the whole length and some were half the length, to just vary that as I go. And the bottom board is long, like there's an overhang, so it'll hang down from the bottom. I feel like that will look better. And if you happen to be liking this video, please click the like button down below. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. And if you feel so inclined, share this. It just helps me get my content out and to more people. None of that costs you anything, but if you do want to support my channel more, I do have links below for like buy me a coffee and Amazon. Although at this point it's like buy me a chicken coop. I need a roof for the chicken coop. Okay, so you can see that overhang. So that will go up against like the frame of the chicken coop and it'll have that overhang, so hopefully rain and stuff doesn't get in there. Now for the other doors, I got smart and moved to the front and used my miter saw. Actually, I just knew what I wanted to do this time, so I wasn't just winging it. Cut everything that I was going to need, and then I was able to build this much faster. And you'll notice I do square the ends up. I did that for the other door, but it was on a circular saw on top of a block or board on top of bricks, so I didn't record that. This obviously went much faster. And some of the boards are longer, some of the boards are shorter. The entrance door is exactly the same as the other two, just smaller. So and while building this one, my son did come out and help me. I think he doesn't like using the saws, but I think he likes the brad nailer. So I did have some help on this one. Now for the trim boards. I'm going to use this Miles Craft Saw Guide to rip some fence pickets down. I'm just mostly in half. I think these are cedar fence pickets, roughly in half. And if you have any ideas on how to clamp these, I like the saw guide, but like clamps, like I go for a little bit and then I have to stop and remove the clamp, and I go for a little bit and I get to the other clamp. Actually, I didn't even get all the way. I put this clamp back on because I didn't want anything sliding or moving and binding my saw blade as I went. And then I keep going and remove that saw or that clamp. Stop, put that clamp back on. If you have any tips. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not even the most inefficient thing I've ever done. And I'll sand these with like an 80 grit, just roughly sand, get all the fuzzy stuff off. And this worked great. It was really quick to do. I think I only did 3 pickets to begin with, 3 or 4. And it went great. Because right now I'm just doing the trim to go around the doors, because I designed the doors to hang from the trim. So I do have to have it around the doors to be able to hang the doors. And then I'm painting. My daughter wanted red with white trim, and I couldn't find any red mist tint. So we went with blue. But I still found this white that is primer. It's not, but hey, it's white and it's for outdoor and it was cheaper. So, and I couldn't find my rollers, so I used a brush and painted my trim pieces, let them dry. I did 2 coats, and then I was able to cut them to the size I need, which I cut them as I went, screwed them in to go around where the doors are so I could attach the doors. And my son had to help me hang the trim. So again, I literally I cut them to size as I needed them. And I did have to make sure that I left enough space for the doors. And I made sure that this lined up with the 2x4 that's like the frame of the door, because that's where I measured everything from. So. And I will have to go back and like seal the edges, cover up the screw holes. And the screws I'm using are actually long enough to go through this board, through the siding, and into the 2x4s that are the door frame. Since those are holding the doors, I'm using longer screws to make sure that it is attached really well. And for the doors, I started by putting the hinges on the doors first and then trying to hang it. Spent time putting all the hinges just for me to realize that once I got this one hung, it was crooked. The top hinge was crooked. If you look, you can see it's crooked. So I had to fix it. So I took everything out. Dropped my screws. Straightened it up, and then re-drilled everything. And while I was doing this, I'm trying to hang these doors so that, we can have chickens in there. And my daughter comes out while I'm doing this to ask me what I'm going to make for dinner. Y'all. And I did at one point to hold the door. I used my head. Just stuck my head up against there. I didn't have enough hands. So. And then once the hinge was straight, I straightened my door out. This is where my daughter's asking what's for dinner. Re-drilled my holes. Pretty sure my drill bit is bent. And then reattached the door so that it is in fact straight now. That opens so much better. And then I did have to buy these little latches, but just to attach those so that they lined up. I do have handles that I'm going to put on. I just haven't yet. So. Now for this little entrance door, I'm just using one of these latches. I understand that it wouldn't keep a predator out, but this will be inside the run. So, and then I'm putting the little eye for the hook and eye. And I put another one so that when the door is open, I can hook it on there and it'll stay open and won't blow in the wind. Yay! Okay. And here is the door. Still there. I know that my tent stake isn't going to be very effective, but it's, you know, it held it shut so that the wind couldn't blow it open. That's just the tarp that's sitting on top. So yeah. Yay. And these hinges, I don't know if they're even outdoor hinges, but it's what I had. So, and they were new, but I already had them, so I don't know. They're in the package, sitting in my shed. What did I buy them for? I have no idea. And temporarily, until I'm going to get some D-rings, but I have some wire. A wire in here. And I'll probably put like a block up here as well to help hold that. It won't be perfect, but it will be okay. I'm going to do better than that, but use something to wire this shut so that they can't get in until I get some D-rings. Hilbert.
That's over.
Pollo.
That's Nugget.
That is Pollo.
That's Nugget.
That is Nugget. No, the other way, Hilbert. Hey, Hilbert. No, you gotta go the other way. Oh, Pollo. Egbert.
Go in there already.
And Chikira.
Chikara.
Okay.
Like, what is this place? It's a whole lot bigger than I remember.
I just need to finish the